Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Bites. We are dive into the latest and the most important topics in technologies. I'm your host Haziq, and joining me today are my awesome co-host is Divan, Mugi, and Daus. Today's topic is something every smartphone user should care about: privacy matter. Android versus iOS data protection. We are going to compare how does two major operating systems, Google Android and Apple iOS, protect your data and privacy.
Hi everyone, I am Daus. It's interesting because most people now choose their phone based on the camera, design, and price, but not many things about how their data is protected.
That's so true. We use our phones literally for everything: banking, chatting, shopping, storing some personal photos as well. If our data is insecure, it can be stolen or tracked without us even knowing.
Exactly, and that's why Android and iOS improves their privacy and security features every single year, but they take very different approaches. Let's break it down. Yes.
Let's go to move to segment 1. Why privacy matter? Alright, before we compare, let's start with the basic. Why privacy is so important to in digital age?
Our smartphones hold almost everything about us, from personal photos, contacts, location, and health data. Without the proper protections, hackers and companies could misissue these informations.
Not to mention, many apps collect data for targeted advertising. Sometimes they even track your own online habits without you even realizing it.
And that's why user privacy has become one of the biggest issues in tech. And companies like Google and Apple are not just competing with new features, but how much they respect our privacy.
We have another segment. So this segment we're gonna talk about Android approach to privacy. Alright, let's start with Android. Divan, can you explain how Android handle privacy?
Sure, Haziq. Android is an open source operating system, which means it's used by different phone brands like Samsung, Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo, and many other more. Because of that, it's flexible and customizable, but also more complex to control.
Right, but Google has added a strong privacy features recently. For example, Android now has a privacy dashboard, which means you can see which apps has access your locations, camera, or microphones.
Other than that, Android lets users clear data more easily and limit personalized ads. But because it's open source, some devices still have weaker protection, especially cheaper phones that don't get regular updates.
And users can give apps permission to allow certain features only. These can prevent the apps from tracking you secretly from the background.
So basically, Android give you more freedom, but they also have more responsibility to protect your data yourself. Guys, let's move to next segment. It is iOS approach to privacy. So now let's talk about Apple iOS. So Mugi, how does iOS handle privacy differently?
Okay, so Apple takes a much more controlled approach. As you guys know, iOS is a closed system. So Apple tightly manages every single thing, including the hardware to the software and even the Apple Store. This makes it harder for the hackers to break in.
That is true, and iOS requires apps to ask for permissions before they track you. You have probably seen that message, allow app to track, and you can choose ask app to not to track.
Also, iMessages and FaceTime are end-to-end encrypted, which means no one, not even Apple, can listen or read your messages.
Another cool thing about Apple's app privacy labels on the App Store, they show what kind of data each app collects before you even download it. That's pretty transparent.
Oh, so compared to Android, iOS give user less control but offers strong built-in privacy protection. So guys, let's move to next segment, which is Android versus iOS. Which one is better? Okay teams, let's compare. In terms of user security privacy, who wins, Android or iOS?
Honestly, I think iOS has the upper hand when it comes to default privacy. Apple focus on protecting data automatically without needing users to change many settings.
I agree, but Android gives you freedom. You can choose your own apps, modify your system, and customize everything. Some people like that, but the risk is not all Android phones get the same level of security updates.
Oh, I see.
Actually, it depends on the user. If you're someone who downloads app carefully, checks permissions, and keep your phone updated, Android can be just same as an iPhone.
Oh, good points. So we can say that Android more freedom but more responsibility.
Yeah.
But iOS more control but less flexibility. In the end, your privacy depends on not on your phone but also on how you use it. Let's move to next segment, how user can stay safe. So Daus, can you give me some point how user can stay safe?
For me, no matter which phone you use, there are simple steps to protect your privacy. First of all, check your app permission regularly. Second, avoid downloading apps from unknown sources. Third, keep your software updated. And fourth, use strong passcodes and enable two-factor authentications.
And also, be careful with what you share online. Once something is uploaded, it's hard to remove completely.
Plus, always review privacy settings on social media and messaging apps. Sometimes we give away more information than we realize.
Okay, great discussion everyone. To wrap up, both Android and iOS take privacy seriously but in different way. For Android, focus on user choice and flexibility. But iOS focus on built-in security and control. So no matter what phone you use, remember your data is valuable and protecting it start with you.
Well said, Haziq. It's not just about which system is better. It's about being aware and responsible as a user.
Totally agree. Technology should work for us, not against us.
So stay smart, stay safe, and always think twice before you click the allow button.
Guys, that's all for today's episode of Tech Talk Bites. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to my amazing co-hosts Mugi, Divan, and Daus. If you enjoy this episode, don't forget to follow us for more tech talk in that actually matter. Until next time, stay secure and stay private, and remember, privacy matters.